ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the CD Racoola Show. Today we'll be looking at the 2024 film Hellboy, the Crooked Man. So before we head down to hell and back again in this episode of the show, if you could be a real dear and hit the subscribe button, I would be your best friend forever. And when a vampire says forever, he means forever. So moving on here to Hellboy, the Crooked Man, let me start this off by saying I am a big Hellboy fan. I just think Hellboy is such a unique character with a cool background story and a cool look to boot. This film had me torn. On one hand, I did like that it followed the comic, written by Mike Mignola, pretty well, so they did a good job there. So yes, I will give credit where credit is due. Unfortunately, other than that, I think they really dropped the ball on this film. I wanted so bad for this film to be good, and it had so much darn potential. It's a good story and all the characters are there. I think they wanted to go darker and more horrific in this film than the past 3 live-action Hellboy films, and I think that would have been that was good idea, but they made it look so bad that I just couldn't take it seriously as a darker and more horrific version of Hellboy. I mean, take the Crooked Man, for instance. I feel like the Crooked Man has so much potential to be scary. Look at the Conjuring universe's version of the Crooked Man. Now that's horrific. They're supposed to do a film with the Crooked Man from the Conjuring universe, but I think that fell through, unfortunately, because that would have been pretty sweet. Even the 2016 made-for-TV movie, actually called The Crooked Man, had a decently scary look, but that was a pretty bad film itself, to be honest. Even the Crooked Man nursery rhyme is scary. Listen to this nursery rhyme and tell me this doesn't sound scary. There was a crooked man. He walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked sixpence and a crooked style. He brought a crooked cat that caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a crooked little house. That just sounds creepy to me. I said all that to say that Hellboy's version of the Crooked Man, whom looked like a cheesy version of the comic book one, the guy looks like if Abraham Lincoln and Popeye, the Sailor Man, had a baby, he would come out looking like this Crooked Man. He just didn't do it for me. They CGI'd this film to absolute death, and you know I'm a big practical effects guy. I love the makeup and stuff. Right in the beginning, when they were fighting the giant evil spider, I just had to cringe, because it reminded me of those bad movies on the Sci-Fi Channel that someone had just slapped together with CGI stuff. The actor who portrayed Hellboy, Jack Casey, has been in some good stuff like The Strain and Deadpool 2, where he played Black Tom Cassidy. I don't think he's a bad actor, but I thought his portrayal of the iconic Hellboy character was a bit rough. He just lacked the attitude and the snarkiness that I think Hellboy needed and has had in the past. Quite honestly, and I feel kind of weird saying this, but I didn't feel like he was red enough. He seemed like he was a paler shade of red than the former Hellboy characters. Like, it made him look like almost sickly to me. Speaking of former Hellboys, in Jack Casey's defense, the guys who played Hellboy before him were Ron Perlman and David Harbour. I mean, come on, it's tough to stack up against those guys. So, comment here. I'm curious now. Who is your favorite Hellboy? I'm pretty basic, so I'm going with Ron Perlman. I know that's basic, but whatever. I just like the way he portrays the character, and he has a face that just works for me for the character. So leave me a comment down below on who your favorite Hellboy actor was. Maybe it was Casey, and you think he was fantastic. I don't know, it's just my opinion here. Don't shoot the messenger, certainly not with a crossbow. On a more positive note, because I like to be a glass of blood is half full kind of guy, I did think the preacher was portrayed well, and I thought the holy shovel with the glowing cross was a nice touch and meshed with the comic pretty well. Adeline Rudolph, also in this film, was one of the few bright spots as far as this pretty bland cast goes. She was in Netflix Resident Evil and will be playing Katana in the next Mortal Kombat film. Oh, I love me some Mortal Kombat. And yes, I have played Mortal Kombat games. I mean, just because I'm a 600-year-old vampire doesn't mean that I'm not going to be doing fatalities as my favorite character, Baraka. You know, whatever, anyway. So I do think they tried to make this film darker and more horrific, but severely missed the mark. I saw a review that said it seemed like a fan-made film, and I have to 100% echo that sentiment, because it really did to me feel that way. Here could be the light at the end of the tunnel, though, and here's my suggestion. And I don't think this will ever happen, but here we go. If they did redo this film and bring back my boy Ron Perlman or even David Harbour, I think they could right this ship. I really do. They probably won't remake this film, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. I can't, however, give this Hellboy, the Crooked Man film, high marks on the old scarometer, even though it did have so much potential. It really did. I would like to thank you, though, for joining me here on the CT Racoola Show, and if you could please take your big giant red finger and hit that subscribe button and support a 600-year-old vampire in need. Please join me next episode when I chat about my top 10 vampires of all time. Oh, should be a lot of funsies. So till next time, my little blood bags out there in YouTube land, if you ever come across a crooked man in a dark alley somewhere, be sure that you have a holy shovel handy to beat him silly with. Or at the very least a holy rake, or maybe a holy leaf blower, or even a holy spatula might work. Ta-ta, my dears. Ta-ta.